Day after day I'm more confused, yet I look for the light through the pouring rain. You know that's a game that I hate to lose, and I'm feeling the strain. Ain't it a shame? Oh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Yeah, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Beginning to think that I'm wasting time. I don't understand the things I do. The world outside looks so unkind, so I'm counting on you to carry me through. Come on, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Yeah, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. And when my mind is free, you know a melody can move me. And when I'm feeling blue, the guitar's coming through to soothe me. Thanks for the joy that you're giving me. I want you to know I believe in your song, your rhythm and rhyme and harmony. You've helped me along, you're making me strong. Yeah, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Hey, hey, hey. Give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Hey, 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 now give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Now, won't you take me? Oh, take me. I wanna fly early in the morning. Hey, won't you take me? Come on, free my soul now. I wanna drift away. Hey, now won't you take me?
Graduates, please assemble. Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Arts. The processional will begin shortly. Thank you.
I have these moments I'm steady and strong. I'm feeling so holy and humble. The next thing I know, I'm all worried and weak. I feel myself starting to crumble. once awakes and you see your mistakes and you wish someone would buy your confession. The days miss their mark and the night gets so dark, and some kind of message comes through to you. Some kind of message shoots through, and it says to you, love when you can, cry when you have to, feel you must, that's a part of the plan. Await your arrival with simple survival, and one day we'll all understand. One day we'll all understand. One day we'll all understand. There is no Eden nor heavenly gates. The truth gonna make it through one day. But all of the answers you seek can be found in the dreams that you dream on the way. It was raining hard in Frisco. I needed one more fare to make my night. A lady up ahead waved to flag me down. She got in at the light. Oh, where you going to, my lady blue? It's a shame you ruined your gown in the rain. She just looked out the window. She said 16 Parkside Lane. Something about her was familiar. I could swear I seen her face before. But she said, I'm sure you're mistaken. And she didn't say anything more. It took a while, but she looked in the mirror. Then she glanced at the license for my name. A smile seemed to come to her slowly. It was a sad smile just the same. And she said, how are you, Harry? I said, how are you, Sue? Through the too many miles and the too little smiles, I still remember you. It was somewhere in a fairy tale. I used to take her home in my car. We learned about love in the back of a Dodge. The lesson hadn't gone too far. You see, she was gonna be an actress, and I was gonna learn to fly. She took off to find the footlights. I took off to find the sky. Whoa, I've got something inside me to drive the princess blind. There's a wild man wizard, he's hiding in me, illuminating my mind. time runs out. There was not much more for us to talk about. Whatever we had once was gone. So I turned my cab into the driveway, past the gate and the fine trim lawns. And she said, we must get together, but I knew it'd never be arranged. Then she handed me $20 for a $2.50 fare. She said, Harry, keep the change. Well, another man might have been angry, and another man might have been hurt, but another man never would let her go. I stashed the bill in my shirt. And she walked away in silence. It's strange how you never know, but we'd both gotten what we'd asked for such a long, long time ago. You see, she was gonna be an actress, and I was gonna learn to fly. She took off to find the footlights, I took off for the sky. And here she's acting happy inside her handsome home, and me, I'm flying in my taxi, taking tips and getting stoned. I go flying so high when I'm stoned.
doing that. Good morning. Skidmore College is a college that has always placed special value on the bold, the daring, and the future. Yet we also honor our past. In that spirit, we begin today's ceremony with remarks by Skidmore's first president, Charles Henry Keyes, that were part of his remarks to the graduating class of 1923. The courage that all your college experiences have built into you finally determines the worth of your training. Education brings convictions, but unless it also brings the courage of those convictions, it is but dangerous equipment. To have the unfaltering, uncompromising courage of sane, logical convictions is the crowning glory of the life of an educated person. Please join me now in a moment of silence as we honor the courageous people who have made Skidmore the remarkable place it is today. As well, let us consider ways in which each of us can work to sustain the noble and courageous tradition of those who came before us. Thank you.
Good morning, class of 2022. And what a good, no, let's make that a great and meaningful morning it is. My name is Nancy Wells Hamilton, graduate of the class of 1977 and chair of Skidmore's Board of Trustees. Welcome, President Marc Connor, Mrs. Barbara Reyes Connor, members of the class of 2022, and to all of the families, faculty, distinguished guests, including Skidmore President Emeritus Glotzbach, alumni and friends present with us here today, and to those of you watching virtually. On behalf of the Skidmore College Board of Trustees, I want to warmly welcome you all to the 111th commencement ceremony of this extraordinary institution, taking place here at the Saratoga Performing Arts Center, a Skidmore tradition since 1967. To the class of 22, I also want you to know that yesterday, the Board of Trustees unanimously voted to confer degrees upon you, the graduating class of 2022. Congratulations. It's so nice to be here to celebrate with you all. It's also especially nice for me because in 2 weeks, I, together with 2 of my fellow classmates and trustees, John Achenbaum and Millie Tan, will be back here at Skidmore to celebrate our 45th reunion. I don't know about Millie or John, but I must admit that I was not exactly chipper and well-rested at our commencement in 1977. Rather, I'd stayed up all night and probably, absolutely, had celebrated more than just a tad too much. And I'm sure that's not the case with a single one of you. When I arrived at Skidmore as a freshman on financial aid, I was sure I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I was going to major in studio art. My student work assignment was down at the stables. But after being exposed to the liberal arts curriculum, I decided to major in psychology and took the widest range of classes possible. By spring of my senior year, though, I had no idea what I was going to do after graduation. I waited tables, I became a paralegal, I floundered, and eventually, by default, I decided to try law school, mostly because many of my friends had gone to law school. Fast forward, for the past 30+ years, I've been a litigation partner in a large 450-lawyer Texas-based firm, Jackson Walker LLP, and I've had the honor of appearing and trying cases in federal and state courts throughout the United States and representing clients like Oprah Winfrey, Dr. Phil, CNN, Fox News, to name a few. I suspect that many of my fellow trustees share a similar journey of facing and then embracing the unknown. Speaking of the board, I thought it might be interesting for you to hear a bit about those robed figures with our Harry Potter-style caps who are marching behind the procession behind the alumni board and faculty. The college's statement of trustees' responsibilities notes that it is the board that appoints the president as our chief administrative officer, and it is the task of the board to concern itself with policy issues, to oversee but not administer the institution, which we leave to the president and his staff. As trustees of Skidmore College, we are committed individually and collectively to the highest possible standards of conduct and acknowledge that each shares an obligation to exercise our best judgment in matters affecting the health and vitality of this institution, which we hold in trust for future generations. By nature of our membership profile, board members bring diversity in thought, experience, and perspective. Respect for our differences is a priority and strength of our board. In keeping with that charge, the current board is comprised of 33 members, 19 women and 14 men. 28 are alumni, and 5 are parents of alumni. There are 5 alums from the 60s, 5 from the 70s, 6 from the 80s, 6 from the 90s, and 1 alum from the class of 2013 and 1 from the class of 2019. In addition to the broad range of ages, our trustees hail from California, Connecticut, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, and Texas. Their professions and interests are equally diverse. They include MBAs, PhDs, lawyers, educators, business and financial analysts, actors, artists, physicians, scientists, a founder of a boutique home building development company, and an adjunct lecturer on public policy at Harvard, as well as the deputy general counsel of a major motion picture company who served in the US State Department as a copyright consultant in Estonia, Indonesia, Italy, Latvia, and Lithuania. Now, isn't that a classic Creative Thought Matters lineup? As I noted, many of them once sat in those same seats where you are sitting today, at about the same age, with the same or similar questions and hopes, fears, anxiety, and excitement, not knowing what the world would bring. Why, you ask, is this of any importance or interest to us today? I believe that it's important because in this time of turmoil, it is critically important that we have a better education and understanding of our institutions, their foundations, and the people who administer them. This duty to educate ourselves and others extends to civil literacy and the rule of law as well. If we do not, then how can we ensure the health and vitality of these institutions, which we hold in trust for future generations? As United States Supreme Court Justice Roberts wrote, quote, "Each generation has an obligation to pass on to the next not only a fully functioning government responsive to the needs of the people, but the tools to understand and improve it." Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, who devoted her post-Supreme Court life to civics education, wrote, "Knowledge about our government isn't handed down through our gene pool." And Judge Don Willett, a judge on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit, notes, quote, "The habits of citizenship must be taught and learned anew by each generation. This isn't something hardwired into our DNA as Americans." In an article titled "Civil Illiteracy and the Rule of Law," Judge Willett also noted, as Jefferson put it, "If a nation expects to be ignorant and free, it expects what never was and never will be. Education enables every man to judge for himself what will secure or endanger his freedom." On the other hand, obliviousness to the what and why of America accelerates detachment and increases the risk that we will lose our institutions and our republic. After all, as Justice Brandeis put it, the only title in our democracy superior to that of president is the title of citizen. So please use your education that you have received here at Skidmore to engage, question, research, and read the text and documents underlying talking points. Test them rather than just peruse and accept headlines and social media. Your Skidmore education is a gift, and yes, a privilege, that you will use for the rest of your life. Learning never ends. After all, that's why lawyers call it the practice of law. Even after 33 years, I continue to practice every day, and I have yet to learn the half of it. Finally, please express your gratitude to your parents, family, friends, faculty, and everyone who made your Skidmore experience possible. You could not have done it without them. This is not the end of Skidmore for you, at least I hope not. Rather, it is a new beginning. Going forward, Skidmore will not be Skidmore without you. Thank you.
Class of 2022. Amen. I have to tell you what this event and what all of you mean to me. Last year, we got through that terrible year of COVID. And at the end, we had a commencement, and it was magnificent. It was right here at SPAC, and we made it. But everyone was 6 feet apart. Everyone was wearing a mask. No families or friends could attend. Only one faculty rep from each department could attend. So like so much of last year, we made the most of it. We were thankful for what we could do. And man, did we look forward to better days. This year, of course, has been so much better in terms of COVID. But let's just say it, not as better as we might have hoped. This pandemic is stubborn, and it continues to teach us. But look at what we've accomplished. All of our classes in person, the full academic experience, from labs to business competitions to art exhibitions to dance performances to athletic competition to study abroad, we've been able to do it all. And now here we are at the celebratory end with two remarkable honorary degree recipients, Moisés Kaufman, Charles Johnson. Thank you for all your accomplishments. And thank you for soon sharing your words of inspiration with us today. And with so many guests and friends and family to celebrate with us. Friends and family. Celebrating together is what really makes celebrations meaningful. So while last year was a remarkable year for Skidmore, and one where I am very proud of what we accomplished and how we got through that trying time together, this year sort of felt like my first as a college president. The first where I got to see Skidmore in something approximating its full glory and power. And this is a glorious place. It's an amazing college. When I think of all that Barb and I have watched you do this year, it is just remarkable. Whether the amazing spring dance performance, dancers, or the Fryrick business competition, or the music concerts in Zankel, or the women's softball team sweeping a doubleheader. Or Hedatron in the Bernard Theater. I'm still trying to figure out what exactly that play means. Or great events like the panel on the invasion of Ukraine in Wyckoff Center. Student-curated shows at the magnificent Tang. And I could go on and on and on until it really does get to be 93 degrees out there. Honestly, I don't know of any other liberal arts college where the students do so much and do it all so well. So who are you, Skidmore class of 2022? Born on or around that pivotal tragic moment of 9/11, you entered Skidmore in the fall of 2018, 2 years into the Trump presidency. You had about 1.5 years of what we could once call normal college life. And then in that terrible spring of 2020, COVID descended. George Floyd was murdered for all the world to see. And it seemed like our world changed forever. You've been living in the immediate wake of world historical events. We are still trying to make sense of this time, and history will be interpreting and judging us for decades to come. And yes, much was lost in this time. There were experiences you never got to have, memories you never got to share, and all was under the constant anxiety of COVID, of that awful term, social distancing, and the age of the mask. It has not been an easy time. But what was gained? How will you remember this time and this experience? I wonder in 5 years or 15 years how this time at Skidmore during the global pandemic will feel to you. My hope, and I'm a man of resolute hope, is that you will think with justifiable pride about your endurance, about your grit, about the tenacity and creativity you showed in getting not just yourself, but this entire campus through this challenging time. And especially the care you showed to one another. That's the key to our success, the culture of caring that has sustained us. I hope in particular you will look back with pride and also with affection, even with love, on the community with whom you accomplished this. COVID challenged nothing more than the concept of community. All those mitigations of masking and distancing and spreading out push against the things we try to do when we come together. Yet I hazard to say that not only did our community survive this challenge, but we emerged even more united as a community. For some, more reflective, for others, more patient, for others, more resolute. Whatever each of you has gained, I urge you to hold on to the remarkable and memorable community that has sustained us. Now, these values I've listed, endurance, grit, creativity, kindness, community, to me, these are the touchstones of a life well lived. These are the values that are most central to success in life, however that is defined. Success in work and careers, of course, but also success in love and marriage, success in rearing children, success in being part of a sustaining and loving community. That's the real goal, isn't it? Of what the ancient philosophers called the life well lived. And isn't it interesting that these are the values, goodness, almost the very motto of your college? Creative thought matters. A community of trust. This is what we believe. This is what we teach. And this is what you as a class embody. Yesterday, we held the naming ceremonies for the Billy Tisch Center for Integrated Sciences and Wyckoff Center. Think of what these two buildings represent for our campus. One, the place where all the scientific disciplines come together in an integrated teaching enterprise, a model for how science works in the 21st century. And Wyckoff Center, at the very heart of campus, a space dedicated to holding and supporting the courageous conversations about every tough and complex issue that our world faces today and will face in the future, from racial justice to international conflict to how we sustain ourselves in the pains and pressures of this rapidly changing world. These are more than just buildings. These are concepts of teaching and learning given material form. And these spaces are important for one reason and one reason only, because this is where our people live and work and study and learn and share. And this is also part of your legacy. These defining Skidmore spaces were completed in 2022 during the very span of your time at Skidmore. This is part of the gift to Skidmore that you all represent. That is how I think about you, about the class of 22. You have been a gift to Skidmore, and if I may be so bold, you have been a gift to me. I am so grateful to this class for what you've taught me and how you've moved Skidmore forward. And that's a crucial point for me to make about you. You are leaving our college even better than you found it. That is remarkable given the time that we've all been through. I see that every day and have seen it all year long. You should hear how our staff speak about you. Throughout the college, people working in student affairs, in advancement, in dining, in campus safety, in admissions, they rave about our students and about this senior class. The pride our staff take in you is palpable. And to me, that tells us much about how special this class is. And of course, your faculty. Every day they bring their best to teaching at Skidmore. Every day their focus is on you and giving you the tools you need to thrive and lead in this incredibly complex and ever-changing global environment. So I ask each of you to take just a moment right now and conjure up a particularly wonderful experience you've had in these 4 years, in the classroom, in the lab, in the studio. I know there are too many to count. Conjure one up right now. And I want you to send that visual thought right now to your faculty and join me in applauding all they have done in this incredibly challenging time to give you the world-class teaching you expect at Skidmore College. I said earlier that I am a man of an almost stubborn sense of hope. And hope is not born of judgment. I do find that as I grow older, I tend to pray more and judge less, and to escape the narrow confines of my own ego to seek our understanding of the amazing people all around me. I think often of the beautiful prayer to St. Francis, that patron of all living things, who says, "Grant that I may not so much seek to be understood as to understand." I hope that is part of what your Skidmore education has given you. We live in an age where understanding is devalued and judgment, especially condemnation, is all the rage. I have found in my 56 years that judgment comes very cheap, but understanding is the pearl of great price. Surely a great liberal arts education is all about teaching us to understand the world, to understand complex ideas, and especially to understand that greatest of mysteries, the human heart. There, in what Yeats calls the deep heart's core, we come the closest to that mysterious state we seek, the state of joy and the state of love. That is my wish for you, this great Skidmore class of 2022. I wish you joy, meaning, purpose, and love as you depart our school to change our world for the better. Thank you for all you have given us, and know that you are always, always welcome back to your Skidmore College. Thank you. It is the privilege of a great liberal arts college to acknowledge the extraordinary contributions of certain individuals by awarding to them honorary degrees. And I now invite my colleague Calvin Baker, my friend Charles Johnson, and our Dean of the Faculty, Michael Orr, to approach.
In 1975, you began a project that was more about breaking new ground than fitting into ephemeral literary fashions, and also challenged most of the racial and social presuppositions in the air during the time of the book's composition, to quote your younger self. The seeds of this work first revealed themselves to you as a teenager in Evanston, Illinois, reading the books on your mother's shelf, which sparked a lifelong pursuit of knowledge. By the time your second novel, Oxherding Tale, was completed 8 years later, you'd revealed yourself to be one of the most gifted, original artists and thinkers this country has produced. Remarkably, your range and virtuosity only continue to expand. Through a body of work that encompasses cartoons, novels, short stories, screenplays, and essays, you've lent the world insight into language, history, philosophy, religion, art, and being that has been foundational to African American letters and joins in turn a chain of transmission that includes Gene Toomer, Richard Wright, Ralph Ellison, Nathaniel Hawthorne, Herman Melville, and all that endures and continues to illuminate both the national consciousness and the best spirit of humanity. Across an oeuvre which includes works such as The Middle Passage, Dreamer, Nighthawks, Being and Race, The Way of the Writer, and Taming the Ox, you've been recognized with honors that include the National Endowment for the Arts, the Guggenheim, the MacArthur Genius Grant, as well as a scholarly association, the Charles Johnson Society, devoted to the study of your work. In 1990, you were only the second Black American to receive the National Book Award after Ralph Ellison's 1953 victory. In your acceptance speech, you paid tribute to the genius and influence of Ellison, who was in attendance at the ceremony, as we pay tribute to you on this day. As a professor at the University of Washington for over 33 years, where you held the S. Wilson and Grace M. Pollock Endowed Professor of English Chair until your retirement in 2009, you helped train innumerable younger scholars and artists, one of whom we are most fortunate to have as president of our own college. It is often said that the truest measure of whether an artist will stand the test of time is his impact on subsequent generations. By this measure, we now have testimony from at least 3 generations of writers and scholars, including many present today, in whose judgment and talents I place the fullest confidence, that yours is already a canonical voice and that it will endure further into the future than can be known. Since your teenage years, you've nurtured your oceanic interior life through the study of Zen Buddhism. In 2007, you took vows in the Soto Zen tradition, a yet further deepening of a lifelong commitment to the Bodhisattva ideal of helping all beings achieve happiness and freedom from suffering. President Connor, it is an indelible honor to present Charles R. Johnson for the Doctor of Humane Letters.
Charles Johnson, novelist, scholar, and philosopher. By virtue of the authority of the state of New York, vested by the regents and the trustees of Skidmore College and by them delegated to me, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, and declare you fully entitled to all of the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Dean Orr will invest you with the hood that symbolizes your degree, and it is my deep pleasure to present you with this Skidmore diploma.
First, I would like to say thank you for this honorary degree. Second, and most importantly, I would like to congratulate all of you for arriving at commencement during what I think is a historically unique moment in our nation's history. You stayed the course during 2 years of a global pandemic that is still very much with us, and that in itself is an achievement. I would also like to congratulate your parents, who were your first and most important teachers. A friend of mine, when I was in college, once told me that when he went off to college, his mother said to him, "Don't get too smart and forget about your family." I trust all of you will keep her words in mind because I truly believe in the importance of parents, caregivers, and anyone else who was there, keeping us alive and nurturing us when we were so helpless, vulnerable, and dependent upon them for our survival. Furthermore, our families provided us with our first classrooms. An Indian educator and spiritual teacher who I've long admired, the late Eknath Eswaran, wrote often about how the family, quote, gives us countless opportunities every day for expanding our consciousness by reducing our self-will or separateness. When we dwell on ourselves, we are constricting our consciousness. But to the extent that we put the welfare of others first, we are able to break out of the prison of our separateness. This does not mean following the wish of the other person always, but when it seems necessary to differ, it must be done tenderly and without the slightest trace of resentment or retaliation. In other words, good families and other caring, supportive people teach us so many things we value in the humanities: tolerance, sharing, and passing knowledge from one generation to the next. Knowing President Connor as I do, I know these ideals implicit in the experience of families on a small scale are also ones he brought to your larger family here at Skidmore. In the 1980s, he was easily one of my best and brightest students at the University of Washington. As an undergraduate, President Connor immersed himself in the study of both literature and philosophy because he understood the intimate connection between both of them. As you all know by now, that holistic understanding is the foundation for his vision of humanities at Skidmore. He is my great hope for higher education. Marc and I briefly discussed what I might say to you today, because our country and the world are experiencing historic transformations that affect each and every one of us. We live in a challenging time. We live in a dangerous time, a time that is witnessing an ever-increasing polarization in the perspectives and positions that we take as Americans. It's important to understand, as I think you graduates do, that conflict, debate, and compromise were deliberately built into the way the Founding Fathers structured our government on the basis of the separation of that government into three branches and their attempt to balance powers between the government and the states. Legal scholar Edward S. Corwin has described our Constitution as, quote, an invitation to struggle. And that has been our history from the beginning. Struggle. As Americans, we can never rest. The founders were brilliant but flawed men. They were creatures of their time and place, just as we are. A good way to think about them was offered to us by Ralph Ellison in his great novel Invisible Man, where his narrator comes to feel that despite all he has suffered as a Black American, it is crucial for him to, quote, affirm the principle on which the country was built, and not the men, or at least not the men who did the violence. I think that here at Skidmore, you've learned how to engage in struggle for our, quote, experiment in democracy, and how to affirm the principles in our sacred secular documents, like the Declaration of Independence and Constitution, which were heavily influenced by the scientific revolution in the 17th century, by the Age of Reason, and what is called the Enlightenment. You learn to do this by listening carefully to perspectives different from your own, by respecting others, by applying the demands of logic, and always seeking reliable evidence for your views. Sometimes this kind of discipline can feel Sisyphean. The great philosopher, Bertrand Russell, once wrote that, quote, the sum total of what a man or woman knows is vanishingly small. What seems in the end more important than that is that one should pursue knowledge. This is an ethical principle that stems from Pythagoras, the pursuit of knowledge which is acknowledged as independent of the seeker. This has been from the time of Thales, the ethical driving force behind the scientific movement, end of quote. And then he added, tolerance is a prerequisite in which inquiry is to flourish. I would add one more skill to this list of ways to engage in the struggle for democracy. That is epistemological humility. I think such humility is contained in an important observation by educator Mortimer Adler. He said, what is the real end of learning? What is the ultimate goal towards which every part of schooling or education is directed? I think you know the word that describes it. It is wisdom. We all would like to be a little wiser than we are, to have a little more understanding, a little more insight, a little more comprehension of the human condition, of the conditions of our lives, of the world in which we live, to know better the difference between good and evil. However, how long does it take to become wise? The answer is a lifetime. Hence, if wisdom is the ultimate goal of the whole process of learning, then that process must go on for a lifetime. I trust you, all of you, will become lifelong learners. I think it's safe to say that during your time at Skidmore, both you and your professors experienced the wisdom in something once said by Martin Luther King Jr. He said, strangely enough, I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. You can never be what you ought to be until I am what I ought to be. That was the adventure of college. All together, each of you possessing what the others needed. As students and faculty, you formed a community that moved closer to enlightenment and completion. I hope that will be true in all your relationships as you move out into the world. Thank you very much.
I now invite Marie Glotzbach, Moisés Kaufman, and Dean of the Faculty Michael Orr to approach.
Moisés Kaufman, acclaimed theater artist, social justice advocate, and dedicated teacher. You were born in Venezuela of parents who survived the Holocaust before immigrating to Latin America. You earned your drama degree in 1989 from the Tisch School of the Arts at New York University, which you credit for your creative awakening. You then attended NYU's Experimental Theater Wing, and there you deepened your investigation of the role of text in the creative process. You developed a passion for challenging received theatrical structures. You have made significant contributions to the art of theater. You co-founded and are the artistic director of the Tectonic Theater Project, a company dedicated to examining the form and language of theater, as well as addressing contemporary social issues. Through research and collaboration in a workshop environment, you and your ensemble reimagine existing scripts and create new plays that reflect your enthusiasm for pushing beyond the kind of realistic stage performances with which American audiences are most familiar. You bring to the stage underrepresented stories. Your 40 years of exploring and devising theater have resulted in moment work, a trademarked collaborative theater-making method. For your groundbreaking achievements as a playwright, director, and producer, you have received numerous professional and humanitarian honors. You have been nominated for Tony, Emmy, and Drama Desk Awards, including a Tony nomination this year for directing your most recent Broadway production, Paradise Square. In 1997, you received the Lucille Lortel Award for the Best Director for your production of Gross Indecency, The Three Trials of Oscar Wilde. And you received a Guggenheim Fellowship in Playwriting in 2002, honoring your groundbreaking work in the Laramie Project. You also co-wrote and directed the film adaptation of the Laramie Project for HBO, which received Emmy Award nominations for Best Director and Best Writer. In 2004, you were recognized with the Obie Award and a Tony nomination for Best Director for your Broadway directing debut of I Am My Own Wife, written by Doug Wright. In 2009, your production of 33 Variations received 5 Tony nominations, including Best Play. 33 Variations also received an Outer Critics Circle nomination for Outstanding Director of a Play and Outstanding New Broadway Play, and a Drama League nomination for Distinguished Production of a Play. In 2015, President Barack Obama awarded you the National Medal of Arts, the highest award given to artists by the United States government. President Obama recognized you for powerful contributions to American theater, noting that your award-winning Tectonic Theater Project continues to move audiences with its bold portrayals of contemporary social issues. These numerous awards recognize your remarkable success as a creative theater artist and honor the humanity and the illumination of our human condition that characterize all of your work. President Connor, it is my honor and privilege to present Moisés Kaufman for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Moisés Kaufman, artist, advocate, and teacher. By virtue of the authority of the State of New York, vested by the Regents and the Trustees of Skidmore College and by them delegated to me, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, and declare you fully entitled to all of the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Dean Orr will invest you with the hood that symbolizes your degree, and it is my pleasure to present you with this diploma.
Thank you, President Connor. I am overjoyed to be here with you today and deeply touched by the honor you've bestowed on me. I also want to thank President Emeritus Phil Glotzbach and Dr. Marie Glotzbach for thinking about inviting me here. I'm very grateful. So the first thing I want to say is to those of you graduating today, I would like to invite you today and for the next few days to be really present to your joy. I know you. You're overachievers who over the last few years have always been very present to your concerns. You have been very present to your hard work. You have been very present where you worried about exams, when you prepared for them. And I find it very unjust that those of us who are overachievers and who care for things and who work for things, we always find ways of being present in the making of the thing and in the looking for the achievement. We are not very good at being present to the joy after we achieve what we dreamt. So promise me that today and in the next day, in the days that follow, you will be present to that joy. I'm going to get letters from parents saying, "Why did you say that for?" They are overjoyed. They're very present to their joy, which I hope. So I understand that it is customary in these sort of acceptance speeches to provide the graduating class with advice, with some guideposts, with some insight into what you're about to go into the world with. Unfortunately, I am a playwright. Playwrights don't give advice. Playwrights tell stories, and what we do is that we hide in our stories some gifts for the audiences to find. So I want to tell you a short story today, and it begins with a quote from a little-known musical called Hamilton. In Hamilton, Lin-Manuel says, yes, give Lin-Manuel a hand, please. Lin-Manuel says, I want to be in the room where it happens. And I want to encourage us to explore what that means and what that's going to mean for your lives as you go out into the world. As Marie told you, I was born in Caracas, Venezuela. I was born in Caracas, Venezuela, into a very Orthodox Jewish family. An Orthodox Jewish family in a very Catholic country. Very early on, I felt and I knew that we were the other. When my father would take me to synagogue on the Sabbath, we would walk down the street with very dark coats and our yarmulkes, and we would get looked at and stared at and pointed at. And that was an incredible education, to know that I was the other. By the time I was 11, I realized that I was gay. So I was gay inside an Orthodox Jewish community, inside a very Catholic and very machista country. I couldn't imagine what the room where it happened looked like. And if I did, I couldn't imagine that that room would have me. In the 80s, when I was growing up in Venezuela, there was no portrayal of our community on television, on radio, on film. For the longest time, I grew up thinking that I was the only gay man in the world. So much so that when I first saw the word homosexual in a dictionary, I was so happy. I thought, there is a word for it. That must mean there's at least one other person in the world who's gay. And I and of course, I thought that that other person who was gay was Mr. Merriam-Webster. Because with a name like Merriam, when it came time to go to college, I knew that I love art, and I knew that I loved literature, and I knew that I loved the theater, but I didn't think, my parents were Holocaust survivors who arrived in Venezuela penniless and started working right away. So there was a very strong work ethic in my family. And when it got time to go to college and I didn't really know what I wanted to do, my father said, well, if you don't know what you want to do, why don't you study business administration? And I thought, that doesn't make any sense. I hope that those of you who have studied business administration here had a better reason for choosing your career than my dad saying that. Having said that, I did study business administration for 4 years. At the end of that, I gave my parents the diploma and I said, now I'm going to New York, I would like to study theater. And the first day at NYU, I walked into a classroom. Now remember, having studied business administration, all the classes that I had attended, the classrooms looked pretty much the same. There were chairs and desks and blackboards and a desk for the professor. When I arrived into the first classroom at NYU, it was an empty studio. So I thought I must be in the wrong room. But as I was leaving, there was a barrage of students coming into that room, and I asked somebody, they said, yes, this is the room. The students arrived in this rehearsal room, and they started immediately undressing. One thing that actors are very passionate about are dressing and undressing. They find it to be a very key part of the profession, and they enjoy it thoroughly. They're dressing and undressing, they're taking their socks off, made me think that footwear was a great impediment to creativity. And all of a sudden, a possibility opened up for me. I realized, why is it that the room that I envisioned as a classroom was predetermined by something I already experienced, right? I want to be in the room where it happens. And that room at that moment was an empty room where people were coming to explore their dreams, their ideas, the stories they wanted to tell. That room, for me, for the next 4 years, became my church. It became my gym. It became my writing retreat. It became my creative oasis. And it was in that room that not only did I acquire the skills to be a playwright and a director, but also I found my soulmates that were also in the same quest as I was. What happened next, I'll never forget. The first class that morning was a voice and speech class. And people would hand a music sheet to the professor, and he would start playing on the piano, and they would get up and they would sing a song. The third or fourth person who stood up was a very tall, very, very, very handsome fellow. And he was very muscular. He looked like he had just stepped out of a tennis court. And at that time, I must admit that my heart started to, pity-patter because I found him very, very attractive. But he really looked like somebody who would just go into any kind of sports and succeed. He gives the music sheet to the professor, and then he begins to sing. And I want to read to you the lyrics that he sang that day. He sang, "Before the day I met you, life was so unkind, but now you are the key to my peace of mind, 'cause you make me feel like a natural woman." And I was looking at this young man, and I started sweating. I was so nervous for him. I thought, what are my peers going to say? Remember, I had come from Venezuela where, homophobia was rampant, where I had never uttered the words, I'm gay, never. So I get into this room where possibilities are open, and he sings that, and I am sweating. I was so nervous, and I am afraid to even look around to see what my peers are doing. So I very carefully start looking around, and I see that 2 students here are crying, looking at this young man so happily. 2 students here are applauding. 2 more students have risen up to applaud. This room adored that performance. And I thought to myself, I am not in Caracas anymore. The thing that that young actor taught me was that the important thing wasn't only to find the room where it happens, but once you arrive at the room where it happens, you have to come with everything that you are into that room. You know, when I arrived in New York, I became a Hispanic immigrant. So then I became a Hispanic immigrant, Jewish, gay, playwright who lives in the Upper West Side of Manhattan. And for the generation of playwrights before me, when they were asked, are you a gay playwright? Invariably, the answer was, I am a playwright, I don't want any labels. When they ask me if I'm a gay playwright, I say, yes, absolutely, I'm a gay playwright. I am also a Latino playwright. I am also a Jewish playwright. I am also a playwright who has a theater company. If I do what I do remotely well, I must bring everything that I am into the process. I just want to end with two quick more things. One is the definition of the word person. Does anybody here know where the word person comes from? Okay, the word person comes from the Greek. In Greek times, actors would perform in large amphitheaters, not unlike this one. And in order to be heard in different parts of the theater, they used to wear these masks. And the masks were built to hold an opening around the mouth that would amplify the sound. When the Romans took over and they began to do theater, they called that mask per sonare, which means because it makes sound. Per sonare, because it makes sound. So that mask that the actors wore was the root of the word person, personhood. Why? Because it is what you say that makes you who you are. Identity and what you say and what you do and the persona that you create are intimately related to who you are in that room. So I want to invite all of you that as you think of your identity, as you think as the person that you want to be with all of your complexity and all of your beauty and all of your grandiosity, that you think that that is what's going to eventually identify who you are and the path you make for yourself in the world. I want to finish with a blessing. In Judaism, blessings are very important. And I was thinking, what is a blessing? A blessing is a collection of words that put together are meant to have an influence on the listener. If that is the correct definition, I feel that playwrights are people who are very good at blessings, because that's what we do. We put words together that they hope to have an effect on an audience and bring a modicum of grace to an audience. So this is my blessing for you today. May you always live in the room that you create. May you always bring your full, glorious self into it. May you always be surrounded by the people who inspire you and nurture you. And lastly, may you always have a life outside of the room that is as thrilling and beautiful as your life in it. I can't wait to see all the beautiful work that you will birth for us. I can't wait for you to bless us. Thank you.
bow down to racism. I will not bow down to injustice. I will not bow down to exploitation. I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna stand. Good morning, Skidmore class of 2022. It is an honor to stand before you on this day. I have invoked that song by Sweet Honey in the Rock in many places and spaces over the years, but today, this song is for you. For some of you, it is a representation of who you are and aspire to be. You proclaim it out loud in places big and small. For some of you, it is a challenge to translate theories of social justice to day-to-day living, a challenge to consider notions of societal responsibility and accountability. When I sing this song, it comes from a deep and visceral place. It is not a song that I can sing in hushed tones. I do not alter the lyrics to dampen the meaning or quell the sense of urgency. This song is a declaration, a statement of clarity and intention, a call to action. Today, 1 week after the massacre in Buffalo, it is an unapologetic acknowledgement of where we are and what is required. It exemplifies a defining moment. And that is what I want to talk to you about today. The notion of defining moments, your defining moments. Sometimes we experience concurrent moments, moments that are in direct juxtaposition with one another. As families gather in Buffalo to grapple with the aftermath of a deadly mass shooting, families have come together here to mark a momentous occasion. We sit with grief and outrage and solidarity with the folks of Buffalo and the folks of Orange County and the folks in countless communities under siege, recognized and unrecognized, around the world. And yet, we celebrate. As you sit with that, please take a deep breath in with me. Everyone, just take a deep breath in and let that out. Though it may be difficult, allow yourselves defining and affirming moments of joy, jubilation, and celebration. You might strive to be vigilant in the fight against inequities, shed light on the horrors of injustice, be a steadfast force of change. But in the midst of it all, make time to express and experience joy. It is possible to remain humble and know joy, to remain grateful and receive praise. Joy rejuvenates, replenishes, and reminds us of the end goal. Today is a defining moment marked by joy. Family and friends, Skidmore community, on the count of 3, please say to our graduates, do not miss your defining moments. 1, 2, 3. Often these moments manifest within the shroud of silence. One type of silence emerges in stillness. We just took a collective breath. Making time for yourself to breathe and reflect and be for even a few minutes. These are the moments that allow you to take inventory of your mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. These are also the moments when your ancestors speak. They remind you who you are, what is expected, and what is required. Allow them the space to sit with you and to ground you. In social justice circles, folks speak of the silence of complicity, when remaining silent is perceived as agreement and affirmation. In graduate school, in professional school, in the workplace, walking down the street, there will be moments that challenge you to break the silence, to amplify a truth, to provide a perspective, to publicly support. For some of you, this means using your visibility, and for others, this means choosing visibility in a place that has not seen you. Listen for the silences that call you to be you. Graduates, please tell yourselves on the count of 3, do not miss your defining moments. 1, 2, 3. Silence can be complicit in our personal spaces, too. Some of you are in the midst of transitioning to someone your friends and family back home have yet to meet. Others have a newly formed understanding of who you were when you began this journey. Many are adjusting to new languages and new lenses that impact the ways that you communicate with and view places and people you've known your whole lives. Some of you are holding on to experiences and epiphanies that only you are privy to, and questions that you are only now able to articulate. Challenge yourselves to have difficult conversations and to speak the unspoken with those closest to you. Challenge yourselves to be whole in their presence, to articulate new thoughts, to continue to grow. Trust that those who love you need to know you. And when you don't think they are listening, remember the times that they thought you weren't listening. And if you don't think they are ready, maybe they aren't, but maybe they are. Give them the opportunity to rise to the occasion. They deserve that much. My oldest son is the same age as you graduates today. I am continually reminded that though I will always recognize his heart, he is changing in very real ways from day to day. It is his choice to reintroduce me to the man he is becoming time and time again. It is my choice to rise to the occasion, to continue to breathe, to share when necessary, and to honor his defining moments. Graduates, rise to the challenge of reintroducing yourselves to the world and allow those around you the honor and sometimes struggle of bearing witness. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, 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 for you, 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 you. May you always embrace the opportunity to rise to and for your defining moments.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. Wrong Mark A speech, but imagine if I started reciting the whole speech of Mark Antony. I bet President Connor would love that. But in all seriousness, good afternoon, families, friends, the esteemed faculty and staff, the Board of Trustees, and our distinguished honorary degree recipients and guests. My name is Marc Reyes Alcantara. Please join me in congratulating the class of 2022. I am truly honored to serve as the class president of such an amazing group of students for 3 consecutive years. As you may know, this is the first commencement where our loved ones are present in person since the pandemic started. It brings me warmth and joy to see parents, siblings, and grandparents cheering for you all. Although this is something to be rejoiceful for, I want to acknowledge the fact that many of the loved ones of our peers cannot join us in person due to the pandemic. In addition, there are a few members of our class who unfortunately cannot make it today. Despite that, I want to let you all know that you are surrounded by people who genuinely love you and care about you. We will be cheering for you today. We are here because of all the hard work that you all accomplished in the last 4 years. However, getting here wasn't that easy. A lot of you experienced challenges that tested your mind, body, and soul. It challenged us in ways that we did not expect. Nevertheless, we all overcame it. In addition, every one of you lived by Skidmore's motto, "Creative Thought Matters," which resulted in various achievements that you should be proud of. Many of you were inducted into national honor societies, received awards for your leadership and involvement in your community, received scholarships and fellowships to further your research studies, showcase your art through installation or performance, wrote a thesis about a topic that is close to your heart, and lastly, being here today. This would have not been possible without the support from the institution, from our mentors, from our friends and family. Also, the countless all-nighters that we all pulled, the gallons of caffeine that we consumed, the several trips that we took in Northwoods to de-stress, the number of hours we studying, and but this would have not been possible without you. When I ran as your class president in our sophomore year, I don't know if you remember this, but I called my platform Marc. It's a play on my name where each letter represents a topic that I thought mattered in our group, from mental health awareness, approaching societal issues, recognizing our differences, and promoting kindness. These were I thought that needs to be addressed in order for us to have a safe space. To completely bring it full circle, I would like to talk about 4 things I thought we can all share and we can relate to, and I guess you can say that I'm going to call it Marc. I know that this is about us, but it's low-key about me too. Creative thought matters, right? Let me begin with M for motivation. When we first arrived at Skidmore on September 2nd, 2018, the weather was nice, which is completely opposite from the weather today. It's still nice, but it's still hot. But both atmospheres are filled with excitement. Also, during that time, we had a different president, and although I was not in our convocation as I was channeling Eat, Pray, Love in London with other 35 London first years, I know for a fact that all of us were excited to begin this new journey. We have different reasons why we chose Skidmore. Many of you here came to pursue your interests or to find what you want to pursue. I also know that a lot of you entered Skidmore to be the pride of your family. I can attest to this as someone who is a first-generation college student and a 1.5 generation immigrant from the Philippines. Thank you. Making my family was my goal. This is common for many first-generation students. We strive to defy what society put into us and to prove that we are more than a statistic. Although I always knew that I would get a degree, there were moments where I wanted to give up. During my first 2 years at Skidmore, I struggled with imposter syndrome. I doubted myself a lot to the point where I considered dropping out. It got worse when the pandemic started. However, I had a pivotal moment that changed everything. During the COVID semester, I was taking the class Intergroup Race Dialogue with other BIPOC students. This class changed how I view the world around me and my positionality. It allowed me to talk about my experiences without being judged, learning about the intersectionality of my identities and societal issues. This class has created a space where I felt heard and my voice mattered. This motivated me to keep moving forward. Although our experiences might not be similar, I want to let you all know that you are more than enough. You deserve all the achievements you have received. There will be instances where you're going to feel that, there will be instances where you're going to doubt yourself, and that's okay. Just so you know that you are not alone. There are people who believe in you. And as Normani said, I'm gonna break you off, let me be your motivation. A is for ambition. Whenever I feel stressed out or whenever I just feel like it, I would always treat myself to a huge takeout meal. Although the food was the main event, I always look forward to what message I would get on my fortune cookie. I know for sure that I'm not the only one who's done this before, but when I get that message that is just so relatable, I would keep it. And in fact, I have 3 fortune cookie messages on my phone right now as for that. There's one message I thought that I would share with you all. It says, when you find something you love, find more time for it. This stood out to me the most because you could apply it to everything that you could imagine. Reflecting on all the work that you have done here at Skidmore, not only you did put time on it, you also put heart into it. Everyone here strive for greatness. Every single one of you work hard because you are all ambitious. We are at the stage of our life right now where dreaming big might not be an option. It could be scary considering that we have to enter the world of adulthood soon. We would find ourselves losing that drive into our hearts and forget the ambition that we once had. However, I want you to remember that when we first came to Skidmore, we were full of hopes and dreams. Yes, we faced difficulties that almost drive away our ambitions, but you did not let those stop you. And now, you are all here today. I want you to do the same thing in the next chapter of your life. Never stop dreaming, everyone. No matter how big or small it is, as long as you put your time and heart into it, you will achieve it. R is for resilience. I have never met a group of people who are as passionate as the class of 2022. I'm not saying this because I'm part of this group, but in my heart, I do think that we are one of the best graduating class that Skidmore ever had. Every one of you has contributed something meaningful to the Skidmore community. This past 2 years, we have experienced an unprecedented numbers of challenges that tested our resilience. This resulted into a division in an already divided nation. Despite this, many of you created and fostered an inclusive space in the Skidmore community. In Bell Hook's essay, Love as a Practice of Freedom, she ended with a powerful message that some of you might already know. She said, "The moment we chose to love, we begin to move against domination, against oppression. The moment we choose to love, we begin towards freedom, to act in ways that liberate ourselves and others. That action is a testimony of love as a practice of freedom." As I look around in this room, I see a lot of club leaders who have influenced their peers to do the same thing. Many of you took the initiative to organize gatherings for social justice and participated in various social movements that stand against racism, transphobia, sexism, and other social issues that affected our community. As the only group left who had experienced a full year without COVID, the other class years looked up and depended on us on keeping Skidmore's traditions alive. We faced adversities in doing so, but we became proactive and created our own traditions that now we are passing to the group succeeding us. We all made this possible because we used our shared love for the Skidmore community. All of you have shown remarkable resilience during your time at Skidmore. I hope that you will remain passionately inspired and have the urge to become an ally. Lastly, K is for change. Yes, I know that I know change is spelled with a K, but, with a C, but today let's pretend that it's spelled with a K. And also, if I do it with a C, it's not going to be about me, it's going to be about President Connor. So, and also, I cannot make a speech without talking about change. This might sound cliche, but change is inevitable. During our time in Skidmore, we've witnessed a lot of changes. There were changes on the way how we interact, the way in our routine, and in our environment. But the biggest change that we all witnessed was the removal of red and blue side in D Hall. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I guess that changing the interior of D Hall will fix everything, right? I'm just kidding. No, the biggest change that we all witnessed was in ourselves. Everything that we have done at Skidmore has contributed in the growth of our emotional and spiritual wellness. You should be proud of what you've become. The growth that you have experienced gave you the opportunity to remain motivated, ambitious, and resilient. Change is constant. It is something that we are going to experience no matter what. Instead of being afraid of changes in our life, I suggest embracing them. This is the perfect time to push yourself outside your comfort zone and do something that you have never done before. It may work in your favor or it may not, but if you're going to just keep an open mind and let things happen on their own, you will get this feeling of accomplishment and will allow you to expand your horizon. The great Selena Gomez once said, "Who says you're not perfect? Who says you're not worth it? Who says you're not the only one that's hurting? Trust me, that's the price of beauty. Who says you're not pretty? Who says you're not beautiful? Who says?" That's all. But before I end, I would like to acknowledge people who kept me sane in the last 4 years. I would like to thank the rest of the Senior Class Council, Nazifa Mahi, Caitlin Moorhead, and Alexander Yarinsky. Round of applause for them. In addition, I would also like to thank those who previously served in our class council. I would also like to thank my professors who have shown me kindness throughout my college journey. To all my friends who, without your support, I would not be able to do this. And lastly, I would like to thank my family, to my dad, my mom, and my sister. I don't often say this, but I love you. Thank you everyone for an amazing 4 years. My heart is overflowing with gratitude. From the bottom of my heart, it has been an absolute pleasure to serve you as your class president. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much. And now I would like to introduce Katie Ann and Austin Rook as your Senior Gift Committee chairs.
Hi, I'm Austin Rook, and I'm here with Katie Yan. Together, we are the co-chairs of the Senior Gift Committee. We have worked together with the Executive Committee to raise money for our senior class gift. In total, 60% of this year's class has made a senior gift, the highest number since the pandemic began. Thanks to this level of participation, we have been able to earn an additional $10,000 in matching gifts for financial aid. Yep. Last year, gifts under $100 combined to provide 7 scholarships. Since 2018, our first year at Skidmore, the percentage of students receiving some form of financial aid has increased to over 50%. We're really happy that our senior gift is part of this increase in accessibility for Skidmore education.
In addition, we would like to thank members of the Senior Gift Executive Committee, including Marc Alcantara, Olivia Rosenblum, Muskan Shrestha, and Sofia Paulino Adames. In addition, we thank all of our classmates who volunteered their time and effort through our committee at large and those who helped out with senior gift events throughout the year. On behalf of the class of 2022, we are pleased to present you President Connor, our total senior gift of $9,780. Thank you.
Distinguished guests and class of 2022, I am Rob Resnick, class of 1988, and I have the honor of serving as president of the Alumni Association. It is my great privilege today to officially welcome you as members. All that hard work and perseverance paid off. You graduated, or certainly are about to, and now you join a special group of thousands of graduates who sat here just like you, having earned their degrees and benefiting from the same Skidmore experience. They did not endure COVID, that's for sure, but they faced and defeated their own challenges, making them stronger. These experiences generated enhanced lifelong bonds, prepared them for the even greater challenges of life, and sent them on to the next chapter. This is what makes us Skidmore. As we were assembling this morning, I looked into the sky and I was inspired, or maybe it was the heat. I see tremendous opportunity for all of you. Many of you will continue your studies, join professions, serve in government, business, the arts, perhaps the military or other public service. Looking at all of you sitting there, I see answers, not questions. I am inspired that sitting among you undoubtedly are people who will solve the generations-old challenges that perplexed us as a nation and society. I believe this, and I hope so do you. Be an agent for positive change. This is what makes us Skidmore. We, my alumni family here, are happy to welcome you to the special community of Skidmore College alumni. This is an accomplished group, and you have certainly earned your place in it. As of this incredible day, you are a member of a network of more than 37,000 living Skidmore alums who are there to call on for advice, connections, and friendship. This is the ever-expanding family of the Skidmore College Alumni Association. No matter what our ages or stages in life, we are all united in spirit and have shared the exceptional experience and tradition of a Skidmore education. As you all embark on your journeys, armed with the knowledge, confidence, and abilities that you learned here from this incredible faculty behind me and learned from each other, know 2 things. As Skidmore grads, you can do anything. No obstacle is too great. As Skidmore grads, you are never alone. You have an army of alumni nationwide and even around the world ready to help. This is what makes us Skidmore. You will not lose each other after today. And as you all move forward to school, careers, and other endeavors, you will reach out to each other. I know because I still talk to professors, staff, fellow alums, and of course my classmates who have become lifelong friends and trusted advisors. To remind you of this and your lasting connection to Skidmore, I get to present each of you with a gift from the Alumni Association as you walk across the stage. When you leave here, I want you to remember what inspires you, who inspires you, your family and friends that support you, and remember your eternal connection to thousands of alumni who walked the stage before you. Stay connected to the college, share your successes, ask for help, and always remember, we are all Skidmore. Congratulations.
Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts please rise? President Connor, I present to you the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts.
By virtue of the authority of the State of New York, vested by the Regents and the Trustees of Skidmore College, and by them delegated to me, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts and declare you fully entitled to all of the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Graduates, please move your tassels from right to left and approach the stage. Now, it would not be 2022 without a little bit of COVID logistics. As you come across the stage, I'll be standing here. I'm a handshaker. If you want to shake a hand, that sounds great to me. If you don't want to shake a hand, just show the fist. We'll do the fist bump, or you can do a profound bow, or whatever you prefer. Now, this means I'm going to be shaking a lot of hands, as will Rob Resnick. We will have hand sanitizer for each person as you come off the stage, and about every 25 people, Rob and I will hand sanitize as well. Looking forward to it.
Andrew Jones Vella. Noah Williams. Margaret Julia Garino Trier. Marc Reyes Alcantara.
Katie Jane Yen.
Maxwell Dean Kaplan.
Riley James Grant.
Parker Lee Mumford.
Caitlin Marie Moorhead.
Kylie Catherine Hennigan.
Daniel Nathan Wise.
Thatcher Andre.
Abigail Nicole Flato.
Andre Stark.
Marnie Lipton.
Katrina Lisa Clavina.
Paley Emma Juway Feeks.
Ryan Thomas Cohen.
Anna Sophia Carlson.
Audrey Brooke Suhu.
Lily Samantha Feldman.
Emily Ann Seung Choi.
Benjamin Edgelow Catcher.
Hudson Charles Miller.
Christian Miller Mankey.
Kiana Beatrice Nelson.
Carly Sandra Serpenen.
Natalie James Smith.
Abby Rains.
Justine Bowling.
Emily Anne Gilbert.
Valeria Varteni Santangelo.
Sophie Hannah Kramer Benjamin.
Aaliyah Victoria DeBejian.
Jenna Lukash.
Elizabeth Roy.
Caitlin Samantha Koto.
Caitlin Gabrielle Murray.
Alexa Danielle Schuyler.
Halin Yuen.
Geraldine Tano Santoso.
Shehi Han. John Patrick Tagariello.
Adrian Johan Verspeak.
Morgan Philip Emmanuel.
Julie Marie Derswick.
Eliza Rose Abendroth.
Abigail Rose Schlinger.
Drew Alexandra Bugna.
Jonathan Ellen Chidical.
Lily Elizabeth Chien Johnson.
Linnea Helen Monica Holohan.
Annie L. McDermott.
Madison Rose May Dudek.
Kelvin Fernandez Polite.
Cooper Richard Murphy.
Alexa Marie Sabatini.
Lucy Marie Cronin.
Liliana Ellen Gordon.
Triona Mireed Padala.
Juliana Rose Willis.
Sarah Elizabeth Spruill.
Naya Jelani Bullen.
Samuel Gideon Horn.
Benjamin T. Ladd.
Natalie C. White.
Isabel Sierra Whitcoast. Audrey Kelly Brennan.
Lily Rose Fitzgerald.
Trinity Alexandra Rollins.
Andrew Maxwell Liz.
Caleb C. Anderson.
Jacob Plute Mahoney.
Hayu Ju.
Tsering Yoser.
Harsh Varden Vaish.
Liam John Whalen.
Sarah Elizabeth Bordelais.
Grace M. Howard.
Alexander Simeon Carney.
Gavin Scotts Burns.
Vincent Ho.
Abigail Watkins Cowell.
Nadia Zaks.
Sarah Choi.
Dorji Chering B. Wangdi.
Really talk into that microphone.
Joey Dugan.
Lois Apaya Ajiman.
Jasmine Nicole Richards.
William Niles Kurtzman.
Amity Grace Wilson.
Taylor Holloway Morris.
Aliana Grace Kozani.
Sophia Ann Newberg.
Catherine Cooper Kenna.
Sophie Rose Wolfman.
Lydia Hannah Shaw.
Sharon DeCarly.
Benjamin Dean Clifford Williams.
Nolan Dean Clifford Williams.
Kaylee Lynn Jellum.
Zoe McEwen Strassel.
Misha Ruby Ryan.
Amity Kaminsky Frankel.
Brooke Downey Heston.
Maria Jerusha Stack.
Connor Temis Palis.
Hope Moore Amadon.
Sarah Grace Finnegan.
Kendall Sona Zaleski.
Charlotte Jean Dillon.
Caroline Shea.
Sophia Renee Grant.
Olivia Jordan Rosenblum.
A.M. Han Davis.
Henry Moses Raker.
Naomi Louise Beth Leshane Schrader.
Sophia Camille Spellman.
Savannah Reed Wilson Suhey.
Anna Jihai Di Carvalho.
Isha Smith Ramakrishnan.
Zoe Emily Karsh.
Shuyang Yuan.
Sophia Anna Marshall.
Jessica Robin Gagans.
Anne Isabella Oates.
Charlotte Grace Cass.
Claire Patricia Los.
Zoe Breer Rogansky.
Chloe Faulkner Campbell.
Cal Clark Wilkins.
Alexandra Naja Steve.
Cecilia Martinez.
Brandon James Lopez Hardy.
Justice Benjamin.
Gemma Dorothy Siegler.
Camilla Tardif.
Catherine Martha Mahoney.
Alexander Zhenyu Liu.
Jane O'Reilly.
Caitlin Kelly Smith.
Frances Given Huff.
Jessica Elizabeth Plotnick.
Alexander Scott Goldman. George Calderon.
Nora Evelyn McHugh Reynolds.
Samantha N. Knox.
Morgan Lynn McClure.
Evan Andrew Little.
Paige Mead.
Joshua M. Webb.
Dante Greco Henderson.
Adam Mika Barron.
Natalie Warren Wilson.
William S. Samolsky.
Isaac Adrian Markman.
Paige Marie Cantalupo.
Eleanor Ray Buchanan.
Ella Marie Adler Fishman.
Lily Eliana Walsh.
Clayton Trent Berger.
Hannah Rose Tui.
Vanessa El Hayek.
Lauren Winkler.
Elizabeth Grace Saraceno.
Vivian C. Montgomery Walsh.
Anna Catherine Jari.
Mary Catherine Poleshi. Lillian Hamill.
Sofia Moniz Cabral.
Emily Faye Syme.
Catherine Elizabeth Stathakis.
Rylan Samuel Mellery.
Dorothy Lanai Irera.
William James Carswell.
Gabriel David Feldman Schwartz.
Benedict K. Bowman.
Reynaldo Elric Payne.
Aaron Lee Jakuski.
Sage Elise Ganshert.
Maya Alexandra Zizerman Wise.
Georgia Ann Didamore.
William Max Schernhuber.
Julia Lee Danielson.
Wilhelmina Sabina Blake.
Yoni Hirschfield.
Megan Claire Pierce.
Sophie Ingrid Benson.
Julia G. Walsh.
Georgia Ann O'Sorgan.
Miriam Lee Harrow.
Jack Nicholas Olson.
Christian J. Eade.
Tova C. Petto.
Jacqueline Rose Elmquist.
Christina Scandavia Olympia Lindstrom.
Gabriela Fenya Restifo Bernstein.
Thomas Michael Flora.
Jacob Aaron Rabinowitz.
Megan Susan Martino.
Jacob Wasserman.
Henry Whitfield Rosenbaum.
Christian Daniel Howat.
Jamie Hartstein Brunstead.
Leif Fagerberg.
Callahan Daniel Johnson.
Sarah Lynn Gordon.
Jenna Grace Magaldi.
Henry Harold Wilson.
Charles Samuel Davidson.
Elizabeth Murray Hicks.
Maya M. Croissant.
Ava Magdalena Farrar.
Edwin Najara.
Madeline Rose Redpath.
Maya Rose Friedman.
Justin Abraham Landau.
Sydney Rose Dietz.
Leonia Arturovna Askunov.
Sana Anita Taitanen Gordon.
Catherine J. Iger.
Maya Gamak.
Jessica Lee Verhoeven.
Mohammed Faisal Al-Jada.
Milo Fowler Dandy.
Brene Elaine Newman.
Johannes Roman Topler.
Joseph Park.
Grant Richard Summermatter.
Emma Honor Jones.
Leanne Bess Garton.
Kaylee Michelle Howard.
Grace Catherine Beneke.
Sophie Mae Berman.
Kate Karshuj Egan.
Noah Golan.
William Alexander Snyder.
Hannah Victoria Davis.
Claire Driscoll.
Pascal William Martel.
Christian Italiano.
Mastura Rashid Koheva.
Sophia Tyjan Rubian.
Madeline Wen Ward Schultz.
Julia Helen Smith.
Abigail Rose Chickaron.
Rachel Elizabeth Karak.
Margaret Mather Fay.
Cecily Alexandra Zadie.
Yasmin Sky Goodman.
Emma Rose Stratton.
Catherine Claire Rinaldo.
Miriam Elizabeth Matthew.
Felicia Naomi Rosen.
Lucy Mackenzie Holden.
Zoe Danielle Beals.
Ellen Douglas Turpin.
Adrienne Melanie Stoyanovich.
Jade Audra Batcherman.
Lydia Ann Tatro.
Noah Lee Williamson.
Tristan Tebow.
Muhammad Azam Khan.
Roger Miguel Mercado.
Adam Xavier Warner.
Heather Marie Ricker.
Nicole Marie McElhole.
Carolyn Delaney Corbett.
Alexandra Albright Tom.
Laurel Catherine Lingle Gaddis.
Sloan Williams Jacoby.
Paris Jared Dizen.
Kwabena Quenu Hazel.
Joseph David Amelko.
Angie Elizabeth Narvaez.
Eva Margaret Nepper.
Evelyn E. Quinlan.
Harrison Browning Wyckoff.
Kaylin Young.
Thomas Richard Duncan.
Oscar Jude Fisher.
Kieran Wilds Yater.
Matthew Jeremy Nelson.
Jake Adam Boxenhorn.
Joseph Patrick Breen.
Ethan Asher Mazurtsky.
Robert Henry Baldwin.
Caitlin Mariella McDonald.
Marina Rebecca Kalau.
Emma Audrey Eisner.
Sophia Emily Ward.
Taylor Goodell.
Julia McMorrow Keys.
Margot Elizabeth Hahn.
Carly Alexandra Patkin.
Stephanie Uraga.
Elizabeth Akum Radu.
Eli Edward Kester.
Isaiah Christian Perkins.
Brenna Elizabeth Green.
Olivia Carusi Cupic.
Matthew James Lane.
Amelia Jade Schuster.
Emily Elizabeth Chase.
Caitlin Nyhouse Kilgore.
Greta Ann Thompson.
Sophia Polino Adames.
Anissa Nia Joseph.
Crescenciana Morales.
Briston F. Maynard.
Iris Miyako Mann.
Makia Judah Hoskins. Malkaya Judah Hoskins.
Gabriel Amina Macauer.
Kiko Carvey.
Daryl Eric Broner.
Ellie Gleason.
Aaron Jacob Banwer.
Michael David Schreiner.
Indra S. Irvin.
Jonah Charles Marcus. Ricardo Adolfo Rosario.
Nicoletta Hanzi.
Gideon Small.
Ethan Charles Rees.
Hamad Mutab Al-Afari.
Inan Lee. Ifan Zhang. Shuxin Li. Chongyu Zhuang.
Erica Jeanette Smith. Ganye Fatea Jamishe Ayobami Osho.
Kayla Shay McLeod.
Emma Sky McKinnon.
Elizabeth Ann Cumbo.
Hannah Liberty Charity.
Elizabeth Claire Druk.
Ethan Merrill Brodeur.
Alexander Robert Pfeiffer Sinclair.
Kevin Scott.
James Henry Grayson.
Ariel Gall. Dean Peter Martinez.
Ojoneki Esther Abu.
Esta Namulando.
Aminatu Toyin Kuleusho.
Kiswen Sida Evan Mathilde Toguma.
Pama Rinchin Galpo.
Margaret Snow Cassidy.
Roman A. Cohen.
Patrick Thomas Carter.
Sarah Elizabeth Grime.
Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science please rise? President Connor, I present to you the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science.
By virtue of the authority of the State of New York, vested by the Regents and the Trustees of Skidmore College, and by them delegated to me, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Science and declare you fully entitled to all of the rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Graduates, please move your tassels from right to left and approach the stage.
Is it going to be after? Got it. Yep.
So do we take turns?
Yeah, we'll take turns.
You're doing great.
All right, there we go.
And thanks for helping.
You got it.
Keep going.
Ivy Liu.
Elizabeth Burr Kamen.
Natalie Zaid Masanat.
Gabriella Isabel Gill.
Gabriel Walsh Vaccaro.
Jocelyn Eva Geller.
Claire Miriam Fink.
Jonathan L. Bass.
Jacqueline Ray.
Yisperi Torres.
Annalise Rose Tempases.
Lillian Pierce Harvey.
Mariella Garsha.
Dimas Giovanni Molina. Genesis Delgado. Jordi Cabrera Garcia.
Nazifa Mahi.
Julia M. Drenga.
Alita Rose Kibler.
Victoria Amelia Nappi.
Adam DeFranc.
Grace Leonora Worley.
Ushna Said.
Madeline Rose Munding.
Fabian Augustine Rodriguez.
Julian Beringaro Tushabe.
Jonah Nathaniel Harrison.
Tatsu Gaucher Rivera.
Emily Grace Zeller.
Isabel Woodward Mayer.
Lillian Grace Copps.
Isis Gloria Rochelle Echevarria.
Nicholas John Macayotis.
Nicholas Jacob Whalen.
Jamie Marisa Levin.
Elizabeth Francis Kalin.
Madeline Rose Barty.
Samantha Alexis Rattel.
Taylor Lene Johnson.
Matthew Christignac.
Tiana Robinson.
Annabelle Rose Williams.
Mira Ray Kaufman Rosengarten.
Nina Francis Valenti.
Christopher Vincent Anton.
Thomas Henry Kelly. Harry Joseph Grosso.
Christopher Richard Downey.
Alessandra M. Letta.
Julia Rose Wiseman.
Gabriella Marthalee Suman.
Muskan Shrestha.
Lily He.
Sydney Morgan Penn.
Olivia Allen Mitzner.
Quentin O. Simon.
Nue Mueche Fani.
Sophie Pettit.
Kaylee Ann Rose Surface.
Megan Lee McGee.
Daniel Lee.
Asmelin Reyes.
Melissa Ann Haas.
Sarara Hayden Makel.
Olivia May Allen.
Samantha Janet Berger.
Aurora Thomas Hagerman.
Megan Skylar White.
Caitlin Elizabeth Judd.
Kate Ryan Wilkie.
Dana Francis Reagan.
Katie Marie Anderson.
Madeline Claire Michaels.
Zakia Amaya Evans.
Joseph Janine Ho.
Emily Susanna Glaser.
Ayesha Robin Fulencio Domingo.
Sienna Simone Stovall.
Angelica Rain Espinosa Flores.
Anna Noel Krashevsky.
Miriam Cyan Dominguez Perez.
Sophie Ann Barbarita.
Emily Margaret Tyson.
Austin Warren Rook.
Xinyi B.
Xingquan Lu.
Carolyn Elizabeth Blackman.
Eliza Jane Conan Abrams.
Christina Ann Convertito.
Alex Ruiz Jr.
Hannah Derrichin.
Pedro Lahaz Wolf.
Madison Pappas.
Emma Janelle Daly.
Aura Lynn Laura Keating Beer.
Aura Rahel Ehrlich.
Heidi L. Birch.
Jordan Lucien Claprud.
Julian Giovanni Skepis.
Kian Sean Duggan.
Christopher Ryan Kalia.
Maliha Ferzan Saeed.
Claire Patricia Slatterly.
Abigail Gwendolyn McDonald.
William Harrison Stevens.
Hannah Marjorie Rose Sadoff.
Lauren Mary Kramer.
Carly Elizabeth Kraft.
Emma Mary Merdinian Valdez.
Nathan Nickerson Wagner.
Christian Zachary Morales.
Sean Thomas Lane.
Connor Alexander Burnett.
Parker Reed Urso. Yuchen Wu.
Colin James Libien.
William Henry Vamus.
Allison Rachel Lasky.
Amelia Annie Boyle.
Jerry Nicole Cinnamon.
Grace Elizabeth Hill.
Sophia Jane Pantigoso.
Matteo Scarcelli.
Isaac Parvin Myron.
Patrick William McDevitt.
Spencer Martin Bernard.
Cynthia Judite Ishmael.
Noviella Moleni.
Ryan Murungi.
Mamadou Salio Sar.
Alejandra Batista.
Crystal Alexis Bell.
Zachary Benjamin Engel Zudak.
Samuel Henry Hoffer.
Aiden Francis Hemmond.
Sarah Forkin.
Sam Charwat.
Catherine Alexandra Brody.
Anna Sherwood.
Franca Bibo.
Laura Sophie Busmaker.
Skylar Cress Bartels.
Marley Azay Maddox.
Alix Gabrielle Dublos.
Arcadia Mabel Rupp Cook.
Joshua William Holmberg.
Cole Michael Vaca.
Robert Alfred Meindl.
Ava Keller.
Mariah Catherine Redler.
Danielle Lily Kilburn.
Christopher Mormile.
Daniel James Donahue.
Kyle James Fink.
Cameron James Fash.
Tyler Lamport.
William Michael Steele.
Avery Patrick Steele.
Kyle J. Del Maestro.
Reed William Russell.
David Poirier.
Michael Christopher Gillette.
Maria Catherine Budsey.
Lila Grace Campbell.
Samantha Inez Horowitz.
Brooke Caroline Edwards.
Joan A. Estabrook.
Chloe Elizabeth Cummings.
Michael Edward Bryn Campbell.
Meriwether J. Sader Burniford.
Jingyi Zhang.
Marco Aminati. Matea Dugansik.
Dior Fall.
Liliana Maria Mastriani.
Yixin Lai. Yanni Li. Aoran Wu.
Frida E. Whitmer.
Jaden Walter Nemitz.
Ruby Eleanor Dirks.
Antonio Thomas Parada.
Thank you. That helps. Now, we will read the names of the students who are unable, now we will read the names of the graduating students who are unable to attend today. Spencer William Maley.
Ajani Akloak.
Eliza Ann McDonald.
Aya Awalda.
Ryan James Messinger.
Brant Azert.
Shishi Miao.
Janine Bernhardt.
Grace Helen Nash.
Renee Ashley Bleasdale.
Tiana Shane Nelson.
Cassandra Marie Bond.
Siddhartha Lawrence Nizamuddin.
Simon Lafave Barnes.
Hannah Garton Nyberg.
Joaquim Comellas.
Grace Vogel Palmer.
Marcus G. Crevelt.
Erica Lauren Peterson.
Rena Frances Dale.
Alexandra Paulinis.
Colin U. Fisher.
Samuel Henry Register.
Griffin Gerald Frankel.
Esmayen Reyes Guzman.
Enid Irene Gallagher.
Tiana Imani Robinson.
Nessa Orid Holdkirsch Brown.
Arlene Alaise Gomez Silvera Silva.
Yushin Shan.
Brandon Robert Sires.
Howdy Gong.
Simon Avery Slatch.
Sarah Elizabeth Grime.
Gianna Elizabeth Stock.
David Sussman Halper.
Catherine Natalie Sullivan.
Jashu He.
Kira Eileen Sullivan.
Emily Holt.
Ton A. Tomasi.
Yuqian Sun.
Jacob Edward Wasserman.
Yuhan Wang.
Warsiu Watara.
Huan Cheng Huang.
Hyungyung Yang.
Xilin Huang.
Dana Zhang.
Gavin Francisco Jablonski.
Catherine L. LaCour.
Yu Jiang.
Jason Lee.
Zhongxing Lin.
Dorothy Sarah Lowenstein.
Branda Liu.
Shenyu Liu.
Dea Koyava.
Son Kramer.
Kabibi Davis.
On behalf of the trustees, faculty, and staff of Skidmore College, I salute you, the graduates of the class of 2022. Skidmore has been your home, and it will always welcome you back home. Skidmore is a part of your identity, of who you are. We will always care about you. We look forward to hearing of your achievements and your triumphs so that we can celebrate them with you. Here you have studied, laughed, and lived. Now go forth in pride to your life ahead. Now please stand for the singing of our alma mater.